Hello, hello, everybody. How are you today? This is Nancy, the Disorderly Stitcher. It is Saturday, July 1st, 2023. Yeah, we're halfway through the year. Can you believe it? And this is episode 30, the big 30. All right. Cannot believe that either. So I hope everybody's doing well. Um, we've been dealing with the effects of the smoke from Canada. I hope that all of you north of the border are doing as best you can be in this situation. I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine. So, my prayers are with you, and I hope all of this clears up soon. I have been busy um, trying to keep up with some things. Unfortunately, probably in the next couple of days after the 4th, my mind will start gearing up for school. That's just the way I work. And I try to push those thoughts to the back of my head. So, we're probably not doing anything special for the 4th. My husband works on the 3rd, and then we have the 4th off, and then he goes back to work on the 5th. Eddie has basketball camp for the first time on the 5th, 6th, and 7th, so that'll be new experience for him. Um, and then on the 8th, we are going to be celebrating Eddie's and Grandpa's birthdays together. Grandpa's is my husband is at the end of June, and they were at Weeblo's camp. So they were gone most of this past week. I had a lot of time to myself with the cat, and I used that time as best as I could to get some things done. And yeah, all right, so here we go. I actually have notes, people. Do you believe this? The Disorderly Stitcher has notes. I love my shirt. If you like the hungry little caterpillar, and you can see this, if nothing ever changed, there'd be no butterflies, which is true. All right, so first thing is that I'm a complete moron because I left this bag of Stitchcon haul on the floor when I filmed the last time, and this is why I couldn't find some of the stuff I was talking about. So I'm just going to go through this real quick, and I want to apologize and to clarify to anyone who gave me one of these gifts at Stitchcon. I don't mention names if I don't have permission. So if you felt that I was not giving credit where credit is due, that's just the way I operate. Maybe that's the teacher in me, because we do have restrictions on whose face and whose work we can put out there. So that's just the way I operate. All right, so real quick, and maybe I did show some of this, I don't know, but anyway, I got this cool yellow box with some scissors and pencils in it, and this cool looks like a baggage keychain, Stitchcon 2023. In fact, I think I'm going to put that on my car keys, simply because I need something big to hang on to. And there's a needle book, and I ended up putting things together, so I know some of these were not given all in the same bag. Some pretty Pennsylvania German cards, thank you notes, some more floss tags are in here. So yeah, it was nuts, absolutely nuts. So there's that. Some floss tags. This had chocolate in it, which of course has been eaten because chocolate cannot stay in a bag too long. I got this beautiful Stitchcon floss bling. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that came from Missy from Two Needles Pulling Thread, because it has this beautiful little main charm on it. I need to find out where she got that so I can get some PA charms. Gobs more floss tags. These are from Fargo, from Carmen. I thought they were cute. And Scrabble. That I thought that was an ingenious idea, using a Scrabble game, an old Scrabble game that you might find at a flea market. Jenny Lee floss tags, love them. There's some more. They're cards from Williamsburg. Nerding out. Here's, somebody was giving out library cards that you can put project information on. I love these. Binks, stitching with Binks. And if you know me, you know that I love Hocus Pocus. So that's like up there with my favorite movie. My favorite movie, I think, is Field of Dreams. So there's something more candy. We eat that. We got a mask. Did I show you guys this stuff? I don't remember. Here's the tile that I was telling you about that one of the Stitchcon gals made. It's a coaster, but it tugged at my heart because A, it's red, and B, it's Ohio, and I'm an Ohio girl. Not raised, but born. Some needles, Tic Tacs, just gobs and gobs and gobs and gobs and gobs and gobs and gobs. Pretty yo-yo, floss bling or zipper pull. Hobbies of Holly gave us some floss tags. More floss tags, amazing. I don't have to make floss tags for the next 80 years. This cute little waxer and counting pins. It's a frog. I haven't taken some of this out yet. I had to smile because this gal's name, and I teach with a guy with that name. Again, more cool floss tags. Floss tags. I love this one because this is from, I can't remember who this is from, but anyway, it's a beagle. And if I could have a dog, I would have a beagle. But I don't have time for a dog. I don't feel like I should get a dog if I don't have time for a dog. One of my table mates and I went out for dinner the first night we were there, went for Mexican, got a margarita. You know, it's just what I needed after a 7.5 hour drive. And Piggy was in it, in the drink, so he became our mascot, sitting at the table. More floss, more bling. Love that. A couple more little waxers, some fruit, cherry, pineapple. They're so cute. Some gal, excuse me, was passing a basket of charms around, and you could take as many as you wanted. So I grabbed all these. Now I'm not going to get them out of there, but it was amazing. Amazing. So I grabbed those. I was walking through the room one day and found this laying on the floor, so I don't know who dropped it and I don't know who made it, but it's beautiful. Little whale tail. Another counting pin. Black cat. Love that. Some more goodies in this bag. Some red, white, and blue little pillows. And a fat quarter of fabric, if that's a fat quarter, maybe a fat eighth. And some more floss bling. I'm just amazed. Amazed. More floss tags. Pocket Pup Creations on Pinterest. And this is from Jenny Lee. I don't remember if I showed you or not, and if I did, I'm sorry. But she gave us these little egg cartons. And in the egg cartons, now the chocolate has been consumed, but there's a spool of anchor thread and a little tape measure and some washi tape. And I love these little snips and some fancy little buttons that you could make into needle minders. So yeah, it was incredible. And more floss tag stickers. Now these are a couple patterns, yeah, that were given. I'm sure I showed you this, but anyway, one of the gals found this on the freebie table, and I said, "Wow, you're lucky. There's the finishing piece, the ABC part of the little cake." And she said, "Well, do you want it? You can have it." I'm like, "Okay." And then here's the Teresa Kogut one I mentioned last week. So yeah, I mean, so I do apologize if anyone watched this and felt slighted that I didn't show off what you gave me, but that's why, because I had a complete brain cramp and left it lay on the floor and never turned around, unless I turned around and I forgot that that was there. So I still have to go through all this. I think I'm still on in recovery from Stitchcon, because it's just, it probably took me 2 or 3 days to really get back into the swing of things. I was so overwhelmed and so wiped out, and I do appreciate each and every one of these precious gifts, and I will treasure them forever. There's Piggy. So yeah. So anyway, I wanted to make sure I went through that. Okay, so what does my June book of days look like? Here we go. You can see it's there's got a lot in it. This was my husband's birthday over here. My travel sticker for when I went to Stitchcon. Strawberries, because our strawberries came in around here. I'm not 100% sold on this Happy Planner out thing, so I don't think I'm going to use it next year. My pages keep falling out, and I don't like that. So, yes, that it just bothers me. And I don't want to have to keep putting it back together, if you know what I mean. So, that's that. WIPGO. I keep my WIPGO chart in there. Now, a couple of these have not been called yet. So, like this one that says Project Bag has not been called yet, and this one that says Project Bag has not been called yet. But you know what? I keep making project bags, so guess what? I'm counting them. So when these numbers are called in my book, they're already done. Because as Jessie Marie says, my board, my rules. I have made a few changes on my board since the beginning, and you can see that number 9, I think that's number 9, was called for July, and I changed it. I did have month to month August. I started that last year, and I haven't touched it since. I don't like Monaco. It's too stiff, and I don't know what I'm going to do with those. I have all 12 of them, but I don't know what I'm going to do with them. And then, so I haven't touched this one yet. It's the Plan of Rapid Growth. It's about liberty, freedom. So I haven't touched that in a while. I need to do that. And the other one that was called was the middle space, which is a free space, so I can do whatever I want. And then the last one is Anton Ufendel, which I will show you in a minute. And I want to put 5 days in on her. Now, some people will say you have to wait until the beginning of the month. I start as soon as the numbers are called. So technically, the numbers were called on the 25th of June, and I already have my 5 days in on her. But you know what? I really, really enjoy working on her. It frustrates me all to no end because of the different pages that you have to flip to. But once I get in the groove, I really enjoy working on her. Will she be done by the end of the year? Heck no. But I love her. All right? All right. So that's that. Let's see where I am on my list of things to do here. All right, we talked about that. Talked about WIPGO. This is so good of me. All right. I have been neglectful since my birthday, which is at the end of April. My husband purchased a gift for me, and I don't remember if it was my birthday or Mother's Day. Mother's Day is the beginning of May. Either way, he gave it to me. And every time I film, he says, "Did you show them Margaret?" And the last time he asked me, I was like, "Who's Margaret?" Anyway, I guess I have not shown you Margaret. If I have, I apologize, because I did it at the end of the school year, and of course my brain was mush. But anyway, this is Margaret. Oh shoot. So Margaret is a sampler that he found in a local flea market. And all it says is Margaret A. There's no last name, there's no date, there's nothing. But there are a lot of specialty stitches, and I think this is the eyelet. I'm not sure. And I mean, there's just gobs in here. There's the X, where then you take the stitches over the branches of the X. I don't know what that one's called. There's long stitches, there's cross stitches, there's this stitch, there's that stitch. And I really would like to take her out of the frame and off the cardboard, but somebody glued her down. And you can see that on the bottom. I would like to take her out just to see what the true colors were. And she is starting to fall off. I don't even know if she's glued down on the sides, because I can see gaps over on the side. But anyway, that's Margaret. And I wanted to show her off because he's my sweetie and I love him. So I know the first thing he'll say when I'm done here said, "Did you show Margaret?" So y'all can say, yes, Nancy showed Margaret. Okay, we're going to check Margaret off the list. All right, so finished objects, FFOs. I have a finish / FFO, people. Hold on to your hats. So Cross Stitch Camp is run by the Colorado cross stitcher Sherry, and she does it, you know, it's voluntary. You don't have to participate. You can do as much as you want of it, whatever. But if you get it finished, then your name is going to be put into a hat for a prize. If you get it fully finished, then it's like there's another level prize or whatever. Well, originally I was going to do the plan of rapid growth. Well, you know what? That ain't happening in 1 month, especially when that month contains Stitchcon. So I emailed Sherry and I said, "Hey, can I change my mind?" And she said, "Yeah, there's no rules. The only rules is if you want to be in the prize drawing, then you have to finish it or fully finish it." Like, cool. So while I was at Stitchcon, I believe I showed you this last time, I had purchased the Bluebird sampler by Heart and Hand. She also has a Redbird sampler, which of course I will have to do because it's red. And then there's a green hummingbird. She has an old crow, which is black, and also the cuckoo bird, which was made in honor of Laura, the cereal starter, because Brenda's cuckoo clock always goes off at the most opportune time when Laura is talking. Anyway, so I got pumped, people. And because I changed my mind near the end of June, I had to get my rear end gear and finish this. Well, with the boys gone at Weeblo's camp, needless to say, that helped a lot. And not only did I finish it, I fully finished it. So there's my initials. I had to change the year, of course, because the pattern was 2020 and it's 2023. And the beads. And I found that trim at Joann's, and then this fabric is part of the, and I also put it on the back, is part of the Mrs. Miller's Apprentice block of the month that I had found years ago at a local shop in Fairfield, which is over by Gettysburg. And lo and behold, I started it when we shut down in March of 2020. So it was my COVID quilt. But anyway, I'm pumped. I used, what did I use? This is what I used. I used 36 count Dusty Road by Seraphim. Sort of got like a little pinkish tinge to it. And I'm gonna, since I have enough, I'm also gonna use this for the redbird and the hummingbird and whatever birds I can get out of it. Have to order those. I'm really trying not to spend money on things right now, but you know, best laid plans, right? So yeah, how cool is that? Ding. And as Pam and Steph would say, happy finishes, everyone. There we go. I did it. Ding, ding, ding. All right, so I hope I'll give everybody a minute to get up off the floor, since that never happens. Collect yourselves. I'm going to get a drink of water. All right, there you go. All right, are you ready? All right, here we go. So let's look at my WIPS. So yeah, one of the WIPS was this, but it got done, so it's no longer a WIP. I have a quilting WIP that I'm going to show you because I haven't showed you any quilting in a while, but I'm going to. So I have been working on my Sparkle Star foundation, paper foundation piece, foundation paper piecing. I'll get it right. And I finally got all the blocks done, I think. I have a few extra now, which is weird. But anyway, so I started putting the rows together. And you can see how when they come together, they make that little white star. And I'm just putting it together. So like right now I can see that I put these two blocks together, which is basically the same fabric almost. I have two green ones there together. I'm not worried about it. Down here I have two orange ones together. I don't care. You know what I mean? Because I am sure that my great whatever, if she made quilts, she didn't care either. So I have a bunch more rows that I need to put on there, and then I'm going to see if it's going to fit the bed. And if it doesn't fit the bed, I really don't care either, because it'll just be one that we can use on the couch and lay on the floor, and I'll fall asleep in my chair. So that's my quilting WIP, and I'm kind of excited. So I really want to get that done and get it quilted and bound, and you know, that's one quilt WIP off my list. I have at least 3 other ones that are cut, I think, and ready to go. And the nice thing about cutting them and kitting them is, just like cross stitch, you can work on them whenever you have the chance. So that's my quilting WIP. All right, cross stitch WIPs. Now these are not ironed, and I'm sorry, but that's just life. They're out of the hoops, but they're not ironed. So I am still working on the temperature tree from I got this one off Etsy, and I do not have a picture of it, but it's from Stitchin' Mommy on Etsy. You didn't see that? And these are the colors, and the color range is like 3 or 4 degrees for each color. So like the hottest ones are going to be these really, really coppery red, and then the coldest ones are down here in the blues. All right, so that's them. And in doing this, yeah, I'm having fun. So what I do is I have a chart, and I have I'm gauging the temperatures on mine with the temperature reading at Capital City Airport in Harrisburg. So I take every once in a while, once a week or twice a month or whatever, I go in and I go back and I look up the high temps for each day of the month, and I write it down on a chart that I created. And then I go back and do it. So last night I caught up with June. So June is done. I'll just hold it in front of my project bag. So there we go. And when I started it, I just grabbed a piece of 14 count Aida that I had and just went to town. So let's fold this way so I can hold it and talk. Use my teacher skills, right? So January, February, March, April, May, June. You can see we had that one warmer day in February, but then that one much colder day in February. So yeah, I'm excited. So there we go. I thought it would be neat to do one that was a rain gauge type thing for like so many inches of rain every day. Yeah, until this past week, wouldn't happen. So on the other side, my July branch is done. I have to finish August. So there's July. Here's August. I'm working on it. You can see I sort of crapped out on it. This is going to be August. This will be September. Or no, that's August. This will be September and October, and November and December are done. So I'm trying to keep up with it as much as I can, because I don't want it to hang over my head after December 31st. Now, what am I going to do with this? I have no idea. I thought about maybe I'm probably going to put the year at the bottom of the trunk. You know, I'll put 2023 down here somewhere. But then I also thought, what if I took the time to stitch the temperature ranges in the color that belongs to that range? So at least you could think about, okay, what were they? If I don't do that, and if I frame this, then I'll put the temperature ranges on the back of the frame. I did discover the hard way that highlighting on your paper in orange and then shoving it in the bag, you got to make sure your highlighter is dry, because thank goodness it's on the back, but there it is up top. I don't know if you can see it, but some of the orange highlighter ran onto my fabric, but it doesn't show in the front, and I'm okay. So, and this is what the temperature ranges look like. I can show you that. That's not a problem. And she gives you different ranges for different, you know, different areas where you live. So if you live in a warmer climate, southern U.S., you know, central South America, yeah, whatever. And it would be interesting to do this, to compare this to, let's say, a tree from someone in Australia, because with the hemispheres being opposite each other, you know, when my trees have colder colors, then theirs would have warmer. So I thought that would be cool. But anyway, so that's that. And I keep it in my postage stamp bag. I think this was the first all cloth bag that I made. Still not 100% sold on these, but I made it and I love it. And being the geography nerd that I am, it works. All right. Next WIP. Jessie from Como Stitches is having a stitch along. Chris the camping stitcher told me about it, and I thought, oh, I started that one last year. So I'm going to count it. And it is from, and I have a little note written on here, sorry. But it is called A Type of Christmas from Erin Elizabeth. And I have shown you this before. And I'll put Jessie Como Stitches Instagram down below. And so the colors, I have the colors. You'll have to excuse them, they're all a little raggedy. They're all DMC. Now, I have decided that I don't like the floss bitties from Fat Quarter Shop. And the reason I don't like them is because I found some floss drops from that I was given by Farmhouse Flossies and such at the Steel City Stitchers Retreat, so I just grabbed them real quick. But with the paper floss drops, you can punch another hole in the side, and that allows you to put, if you have a piece of floss left, you can put it in that little hole. The floss bitties, obviously I can't do that. So some of these have, like this one, have a smaller piece of floss tucked in there, and I know I can find it. I know it's not a big deal, but if I don't have to, I'm not going to. So eventually all these floss bitties are going to be switched out, and I will probably, if somebody wants them in a giveaway, then I'll give them away. But that's how I feel about that. But I had gotten those when I, during the pandemic and getting back into cross stitch and, add to cart, all the things. So, yeah. So I keep this one in my Black Cat Stitchery bag that I got in Pittsburgh. No, I ordered it. Yeah, never mind. So it's bees. I didn't have any bee bags. So it's beautiful. And like I said, it's all DMC. So now, do I know what I'm sewing this on, what I'm stitching this on? No, because this is one that I had written down before, and then I switched gears on how I was writing things down, and I didn't write it down in another location. So I have no idea what this is. I would probably, yeah, I have no idea. So I don't even know what count it is. So I'd have to figure that out too. But anyway, so like I said, I'm disorderly, right? So this is how far I am. So I'll pull that one out. I might even pull that one out for a few days this month since I have that extra free space on my chart, on my WIPGO chart. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Life is full of who knows, right? All right. So that's that. I've been trying very hard to take things out of their hoops. Yes. I'm sure I have a few bags I need to go back into and take out of their hoops. All right. So the next one is the big girl. I think that she and her sister were the first two Hands Across the Sea I purchased. And, I just dove in with both feet, not realizing that some of these motifs are done over one. If that wasn't a mind twister, it took me all day to do that one, to do that flower. Because I had never done over one on 36 count, and yeah, so I ended up doing an 10 stitch. They are not full crosses, and I did not know that these little jiggy wads are satin stitch. And yes, jiggy wad is a technical term. Anyway, so this is the one that obsessed me at the Steel City retreat, because I had started over here on the border, and I went up and around and down and across and up to, I don't know, about here, and then some wild hair got in my head and I started going from here down to meet it, and I had frogged and restitched this border I don't know how many times, and it got to, people were counting at my table, you know, that's number 9, that's number 10. Anyway, and when I got over here, I was a stitch long. I had to add a stitch. It's like, I don't care, I'm just going to add the stitch. But I knew it couldn't be anywhere back here because I had redone I don't know how many of these pieces with all the ripping I had done. So after a few days after I got back from Pittsburgh, I'm like, I know it's in this part when I switch gears. And sure enough, it was. So long story short, I got the border, just the green line, done. And then I have been working on the motifs. This is 36 count. I believe it's parchment from Evertote in Canada. I wanted 2 pieces that were the same color because I also have her sister. And yes. So I don't know why this thing fascinates me so much, but it's like when I start stitching it, I don't want to stop. And I think it's because I know she's complicated and I don't want her to defeat me. So last night's goal, whoops, she just dropped her drawers. Last night's goal before I went to bed was to get this plant done, and I did. And there's that over 1. Now, the stem of that flower is full stitches because I thought it looked better, but the rest of that flower is 10 stitch, so they're only half stitches. You only do 1 leg of the cross. Now I do have to go back. I discovered last night that along this border there are single stitches of a green, of the same green that's in this plant in the stem, so I need to go back and add those. And there's some around this flower that I need to add, but yeah, so there's only so much on a page, and then you have to switch pages. Well, then you have to go find the page. So like in the book, the first 5 pages, first 3 or 4 pages, what she did was when she charted it, the first 3 or 4 pages go across the top. Of course, you know, I can't do anything the normal way. So instead of me going, I can't do this with 2 hands. I need 3 hands. So instead of me going, excuse me, here, which would make sense because those are the first 4 pages in the book, I'm going, which means I have to flip like 3 or 4 pages in my book. I think Nancy's going to be a good girl and go back and start across the top. Yes. So anyway, and she is kept in my kitty corn bag that I bought from Barb in Stitch and Granny. I can't remember, Barb. I am so sorry. And there's no tag on here. Oh, wait, there it is. Barbara John Stitching with Grammy. Anyway, she had for sale in Pittsburgh, and there's all my DMC. DMC looks beautiful, and it's also floating around in my nose. So, yes. And some of the flosses you need 2 skeins of, so I already put the 2 skeins on my floss tag. And some of these floss tags, I have some floss biddies which I need to change out. I have floss tags from Jess Sweetwater Stitcher, and I have a lot of floss tags from Pink Daisy Stitch, so that she graciously made for me. So yes. So yeah, my answer to not being able to punch an extra hole in a floss biddy was to wrap it around the bottom like that. Not 100% sold, but it'll do until I get that switched out. Alright, so those are my WIPS. That's all I've gotten done. And I'm already at 40 minutes, and I still have a whole crap ton of things to talk about. Alright, so what else? Where are we? Here we go. WIPS. Did the FFO. Haul. Alright. Yeah, so we're going to count these 2. These are freebies. Chris the Camping Stitcher pointed this one out. And I don't know if I can show a freebie chart or not, so I'll just show you the picture. But this is from Tiny Modernist, so if you go to her website, you can find it. I thought that was cute. And then I saw this one on Instagram tonight. It's from Silver Creek Samplers, and I love this. Freedom a la mode. So I thought that was cool. I'll do that one. I thought that would look cute on some kind of finishing piece from 141 Design Company from Chantel. So yeah, so those are some freebies I found. When I was in Cincinnati, somebody was talking about Como Stitches project bags, and I was like, oh, I'll go check them out. Well, you know, that was a mistake, because there I was at like 11:30 at night on my phone. But anyway, I don't know if I showed you this or not. So I thought it was pretty. Love, love, love that print. So there we go. I don't remember ordering this, but I did. I'm getting ready for retirement, right? So this is a half-yard bundle of Berry Basket by April Rosenthal. I'm seriously, I think this is going to be like a patriotic flag type thing. I don't know. But it has the darker blue, the red, the pink, the light blue, the gray, and the whites. It even has some white on white in there. I don't know. I know that I think it's Jessica Dayon. She is going to do a quilt along with a pattern that she had in, I think it was American Patchwork and Quilting a few years ago, and I fell in love with it. And of course, by the time it's in the magazine, the fabric line is out and gone. But that would look perfect if I can find some more fabric. So I need to see if I still have the pattern and go with it. I know I bought this, but I really just wanted this. This is Daisy Fields by, I can't tell. But anyway, it's got the greens and the golds and the whites and the teals and the blues. So I thought it was pretty. I got this off of a stash unloading for quilts, but part of the deal was the layer cake. So I'll do something with it. But there's all the prints and the fabrics and stuff. So yeah. I'm going to be dead before I use all this stuff. Someone, and I cannot remember who, showed this quilt book, and I thought, yeah, I like that. So I ordered this from Amazon. Like, I need another quilt book. Like, you know, that's what is there. Those two shelves are quilt books, plus some behind those things. But yeah. But just, you know, like, I can just grab my scraps and do this. But I like the book. And the cover, of course, is red. So I got that. I ordered some floss bling. I ordered this because I wanted to see how it was made. And lo and behold, they're crocheted on. But I just thought it was pretty. I like the way it jingles. So there's that. And then I'm going to put this on my Como Stitches bag because I can. It's probably supposed to be for scissors, but I'm going to put it on a bag. I ordered that from Etsy. Don't ask me from whom. I don't remember. And I also ordered this one from Etsy because I like it. It's strawberries, and there you go. And I probably could have made it, but you know what? We got to support each other. So I bought that. I got this one off of the Stash Unloading site. I'll take the price tag off. You don't need to see that. But anyway, you know, I'm going to do this one and hang it in my sewing room because it's who I am. So it's Little House Needleworks Thread Gathering. I did not take it out of the bag, and I didn't realize that the thread was coming with it, and must be, you know, it's 2006, so the threads are listed as crescent colors, so that was when Classic Color Works were crescent colors. So there we go. Hickory sticks, bamboo, old blue jeans, roasted chestnut, 2 hickory sticks, roasted chestnut, Little House brown, and Manor red. But anyway, sometimes you can see them better when you do that. So that's that. Got that. Like I said, one of these days. Ooh, there's a cool little Floss jiggy wad in there. Thread keep. Mother of pearl thread keep. Ooh. Did not know that was in there. Isn't that cool? Surprise! Alright. Got my Stitch Card Set Q from Fat Quarter Shop. Lori Holt. Haven't done any of them, but one of these days I will. I pre-ordered At Home. This is the new Brenda Gervais release. Chris the Camping Stitcher and I jumped on that. And the house, a brick house on a step terrace flanked by trees so commonly seen on 19th century Frederick County, Maryland samplers. And I'm maybe about an hour and a half from Frederick County, so I thought that was pretty. And I also ordered Sweetland by Teresa Kogut. And see, I really need to read. My first grade teacher does not like to follow directions, and my mother always thought that was hilarious. But I really need to read because I got it, and I'm like, oh wow, I got the threads and the fabric and this cool waxer. It's a flag. Surprise! I love surprises. And so another thing that Chris the Camping Stitcher and I jumped on was an exclusive from Kitten Stitcher and Plum Street. They joined forces and they created Stars and Stripes. And I love it. Now, you can do it in the 3 pillows. I might do it as one whole thing. I don't know yet. I have time. Right? Right. So anyway, you can get this from Kitten Stitcher. Now, she is closed. Well, she hasn't closed, but she's not shipping for a while because her father just passed away. So I'm sure if you go into Kitten Stitcher's website and you order it, then when things settle down in her life, she'll get them shipped out. But anyway, it's Budamus. And it has quilt blocks. See, there's one there. And there's one there. Best of both worlds. I decided I was going to try beading like beads, and try to make some floss bling. So the other day at Joann's, when the boys weren't home, I went to Joann's because some of their stuff was on sale in my spare time between 2 and 4 in the morning. So I got these charms, these little heart charms. I tried to, go low key. Got some lobster claws with hearts on them. And I got some crimping thingies. And some beading wire. Excuse me. And I bought these blue and white beads. And then my mother-in-law has beading tools and stuff that she's like, you might as well use it because I'm not doing anything with it. So that's on the list of things to try. And then I just jumped in and I ordered a subscription to Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher. So not only did I get my subscription, but I forgot that I had also pre-ordered this issue from Annabella's. So I need to find that, and at some point in the near future that will probably be a giveaway. So that's that. So I love this. It's ironic that I'm not a beach person, but I love nautical themed things. And of course it's also red, white, and blue, and it has a flag and all that good stuff. So that's that. So that's my haul, I think. Yes. So, and I also want to get two shares. I'm going to try and call them shares this week. One from Steel City Stitchers and one from Mrs. Jones Stitches. So when I get those, I'll show them to you the next time. I was like shocked. I don't know about you, but I have over like 200 floss tubes and other tubes that I subscribe to. And do I watch all 250 of them? Heck no. But for some reason the other day I turned on Mrs. Jones and I turned on Steel City, and it was the day to do it. How about that? All right. Let's see. Plans. So my plans are, before I move on, my plans are, remember I said I was going to get that blue star field done on that flag. Well, that hasn't happened. I have 3 days till July 4th is done. So you never know, but I don't think it's going to happen. I want to get the quilt top together for this Sparkle Star quilt. And I need to decide if I'm going to do Stitch Camp, Cross Stitch Camp for July. Now the theme for July is something that grows. And I need to find something small. So I think I have found it. So Cross Stitch Camp, this one is something that grows. I've always wanted to do Lori Holt stitch cards. And stitch card set D has, there's a flower there, and there's flowers there, and there's a flower there, and bees grow, and you know what I mean? So why not? So who knows? She does them on 25 count Lugana, but you know what? I probably have enough fabric in this place that I can pick something else to do them on. Whoops, you didn't see that. So I think that's going to be my July. So one of the last things, I made myself a project bag, and this bling I had purchased off of, I think it was off the Stash Unloading, but I don't know if I showed this to you or not, but I'm going to show it to you now. So I love the pumpkins, so that's just me. Do I ever stitch for Halloween? Not necessarily, but I loved it. Alright, so last thing. I got an email from a shop called Stitching Lane. And they wanted to send me some things that A, I could keep, or B, I could use as giveaways. And I like, all right, fine, whatever. I figured, you know, it's probably a small chart or some floss or something. Holy crap. I was totally blown away. So, what did I get in this box? I received not one, but 2 fat quarter bundles. Now, these are mini bundles. They're short stacks, like pancakes, right? But these fat quarters are so cute. Okay, that one has like postage on it, and then the holly berries and the leaves, and the candy canes, and the mints, and the stockings were hung by "Twas the Night Before Christmas." And I love this plaid. I guess that's what you call it, plaid. And then the ornaments with the white background. And here's some more postage in green. And then the ornaments with the green background. Now, I have 2 of them. I have not decided if I'm going to keep one. I know I'm going to give at least one away. Maybe not today, but in the near future, so that somebody can start getting ready for Christmas. If you're a project bag maker, I'll get that back in that bag later. So anyway, I have 2 of those. 1, 2. Also sent me, now this fabric, I want to make myself a project bag with, simply because, you know, this is who I am. This feels like it's a yard. Marshall Dry Goods Company Incorporated seamstress, but I love it. So I know I'll at least make my project bag out of that. I also received a floss ring with a couple of tags with their shop information and a needle minder. I'm keeping this simply because, yeah, Chippendale, all done up in red, white, and blue. Yeah, I'm keeping that because I like Chippendale. Now, this last one is what really blew my mind. I mean, it all blew my mind, but this really blew my mind. At the bottom of the box, there was a larger, like, quart-size bag. And inside that bag, as soon as I can open it up, don't you love the suspense? Dun, dun, dun! Yes. Inside that bag was this. Now, this is currently a stitch-along that is being hosted by Primrose Cottage Stitches. Welcome to the North Pole. A whole bunches of people have jumped on board the train to do this. Believe it or not, I'm not one of them. I still have Christmas rules to do because I started it and I don't like it, and I'm going to restart it one of these days. So this book is like 20-some bucks. But anyway, the colors are gorgeous. So here's a better picture of it. Now I know there was some kind of correction, so yeah, I have to go back and check that. But not only was that in the bag, but there's a piece, a fat quarter of Grace Notes Fabrics Pistachio Frappe Lugana 32 count. All right, so that's in there. And all the threads. So, yes, we're going to have a big share today because I have reached 2,000 subscribers, because I got these wonderful gifts, and they have also extended a discount code. So if you go to stitchinglane.com, and I'm going to put all this below, if you go to stitchinglane.com and use the discount code Nancy, now they have that in all capital letters, NANCY, you will get a 15% discount on your entire order. And this is good for the rest of the year, 2023. And if you use the freight code FREESHIP, FREESHIP, and you have an order of $50 or more, you'll get free shipping. Now, they are a young company. Go on and look at their website, and if you don't find something you want, I'm sure if you drop them an email, they'll be able to give you some information. Or, check now, go back and check again later in the year. But I was just blown away by their generosity and their kindness, and blew my mind. So here we go. I think we're to the end now. For my giveaway today, I am going, or my share. So what I want you to do is in the comments below, all right, we're just going to use numbers because that's well, you know what, I like the words. So in the comments below, you need to use the keyword. You need to be over 18 so that I can legally ask for your address. Do not use the word giveaway or win in your comment because we don't want the trolls to find us. So I already got that. So you need the keyword. Don't use the word win or giveaway. Make sure you're over 18. And please like and subscribe and share the joy of being disorderly with your friends. All right, so here we go. The first one is going to be the Welcome to the North Pole package. The chart, the book, the chart book, the threads, and the fabric. So for this one, use the word winter. Winter, WINTER. Okay. I'm also, here I found my other copy of where'd it go? I found my other copy of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher. So this is going to be a share. So use the word whale, WHALE, whale. And what the heck? We're going to go for the gusto here. Another one will be this mini fat quarter bundle of the Christmas fabrics. So use the word Christmas, CHRISTMAS. And I have a project bag that I made that I would love someone to be able to use. It has pumpkins and orange fabric, so you can use it for your fall stitching, which some people I know are getting into. There you are. So use the word pumpkin, PUMPKIN. All right, so we have pumpkin. Oops, sorry about that. We have Christmas, we have whale, and we have winter. All right, so this share will be open until my next video. All right, which I'm thinking will probably be in 2 weeks, I hope. Chris the Camping Stitcher texted me and said, "Aren't you doing your video?" So she must have missed me. So yeah, there we go. So make sure that if you're interested in any of these, leave your comment below, like and subscribe. Make sure you click the bell because, and make sure, indicate that you want to receive notifications for all the things I post. Share my Flosstube with your stitchy friends, quilting and stitching and floss blinging and whatever else I get into. And make sure you're over the age of 18. The last thing I wanted to ask you, I need to mention some floss tubes. Sorry, I should have done that first. A couple new ones to me. Floss, Bossin Cousins, which I know a lot of people have talked about. They're from Alabama. They're a hoot. They bring back many memories of my southern roots. And Textilly. I'll put the addresses below. I don't know why my links aren't turning blue, so you may just have to copy and paste, but they'll be down below. Another one that I wanted to mention, now this has nothing to do with stitching and has nothing to do with quilting, but it's more from the historical point of view. There's a YouTube out there called Below the Plains, Plains. And this young man and his buddies, I don't know how many people work with him, but they get a hold of maps of old of towns, and they look for where buildings had been or properties, and then they locate where the outhouse was. Now, you're probably thinking, why? When people had outhouses, it was also the garbage pit. And if you want to get a hold of or to learn about history from the material history point of view, artifacts from an outhouse are incredible. One of the ones he dug up, he probably found 20, if not more, pharmacy bottles. Who knows what was in them? But, 120 years ago, they used a lot of opium in medication. Laudanum was opium. And there were some other bottles in it, little blue bottles called bromocaffeine. And he put a little note at the top that said they found out later that this was had a very negative neurological impact on people. But they came out of this one outhouse, and it's what were these people doing? Anyway, if you're interested in stuff like that, it's something that I can put on and just stitch by, and he'll dig down 5-8 feet. It's amazing what he finds. So take a look at that. So Floss, Bossin Cousins and Textilly are new to me floss tubes, and then if you're into material history, Below the Plains. And finally, I've been giving thought to opening an Etsy shop. Because I do make project bags, but I know, a crap ton of people make project bags, and I make my bling, and I want to learn how to do beading and floss bling and stuff like that. So, what do you think? Do you think it's worthwhile to do an Etsy shop and deal with, taxes and things like that, or, the whole 9 yards? I don't know. Is there too many people making floss bags out there? Or floss bags. What are they called? Project bags. So, all right. I've taken up over an hour of your time. So, please, if you're interested in one of the shares, use the code words winter, whale, pumpkin, Christmas, and like and subscribe, do all the things. Please make sure you're a subscriber, so when you enter for the share, yes, because it's always better when you're a subscriber. And have a wonderful 2 weeks, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.